Hello. So I'm making this video so we can talk about what is a tip challenge and a Mustang Open show. The Las Vegas Tip Challenge and Mustang Open show coming up in November 1st through 3rd of 2019. And we've had a lot of questions about what a tip challenge is and a lot of misinformation. So thought, why don't I make a video and it kind of explain it, and I can just share that video rather than having to type a million words every day. So a tip challenge, what TIP stands for is the Trainer Incentive Program. And the Trainer Incentive Program was created by Mustang Heritage Foundation. It's a nonprofit that works with the BLM to help find more Mustangs and burros home. So that's where the name TIP came from, was for Trainer Incentive Program. But what a tip challenge is anybody can enter as long as you turn in an application. You do not have to be a tip trainer, and you do not have to be a professional trainer. Anyone can do it. But a tip challenge is a competition where you would adopt a Mustang or a burro, and you have approximately 90 days to train it. And then you would compete in hand. So no riding, it's all in hand. So the classes that are generally in a tip challenge would be like a handling and conditioning class. And what that class entails is doing some basic things in hand, like walking and trotting with your horse in hand, stopping, backing, picking up their feet, catching. There may be where we turn the horse loose in a round pen and then you have to go in and catch it. And then also the condition of the horse, which is very important. It is a horse show. You want to show up with your horse presented like a horse show. With Mustangs, we really don't care if they're trimmed or clipped or anything like that. They need to be clean and good weight, looking healthy, shiny, that sort of thing. They should have their hooves trimmed. Can show them in a rope halter. None of that's judged. You are not judged on how fancy your clothing is, but we do expect you to look presentable. So, shirt tucked in, wearing something decent. It doesn't need to be fancy, no sparkles or anything like that. It doesn't have to be. If you want to do that, by all means, but you aren't judged on that. But just for the simple, kind of, I don't want to say respect, but maybe appreciation for the people putting it on and yourself and your horse, you want to look presentable. If you are an English rider, you want to dress like that. If you're a Western rider, then, even just jeans and a tucked in button-down shirt is completely acceptable. Another class would be what we call like a maneuvers class or a pattern class, and that's where you'd be asked to do some simple things such as maybe turn on the forehand or turn on the haunch or a side pass, stopping and backing, just doing kind of a basic in-hand pattern. Another class would be the trail class, and that's just navigating typical trail obstacles that you would see in a show. Walking over a bridge, backing through a chute, opening a gate, maybe dragging something where you would drag it in your hand and lead your horse. So that's just a basic, like a trail class. So very easy to prepare for. And then another class is the freestyle class, and in every tip challenge, everybody gets to do the freestyle class, which is a lot of fun. You pick out your music, you have a certain amount of time, you can do whatever you want to do in a freestyle class. It just has to be in hand. There are some rules where we don't want, you can't be shooting things, and you can't be sitting or standing on a horse that's supposed to be shown in hand. That sort of thing. They're real basic, but it gives you a lot of freedom. You can do some cool tricks, obstacles, whatever you want to do to show off your horse. Or burro, because burros, the Vegas one, and many of the tip challenge burros can participate. And those are a lot of fun. They're adorable. With this tip challenge, we will also be requiring progress reports. And what a progress report is periodically there'll be specific dates that you have to submit it by, but we want to know kind of where you're at, like where you're at in your training, how your horse is doing, how they look. There will be about 3 progress reports, and we want that too to find out you know, do you need help with anything? So in the open show, there are going to be 3 basic divisions. You can show in hand, you can show walk trot, or you can show walk trot canter. And you can train your tip challenge horse as long as it's 3 years or older. You can train them to be ridden. And but in the tip challenge itself, it's all in hand, and once that's finished, you're welcome to compete under saddle in the open show. There will also be some burro divisions in the open show. I will put below the link to the application and the group that we have if you want to learn more about the Las Vegas Tip Challenge. The first time it's ever been done in Las Vegas. We anticipate it's going to be pretty amazing, and we would love all of you to join. And you're still welcome to message for any questions or anything. I really hope that this video will answer a lot of your questions and concerns, and then I'm going to demonstrate a few things that may happen in a tip challenge, so you kind of have an idea of what to expect. Adults can choose either a young horse, a yearling to 24 months, or 3 and older. There's no cap on older. Youth, you have to have something under 24 months, horse-wise. And the same thing for burros. Adults can choose a young burro, a yearling burro, or a 2-year-old, or they can choose an older burro. Youth, if you want to do burro, you need to choose a burro that's 24 months and under. And how we do that is whoever gets their applications in first, you get put in a slot. So it's kind of first come, first serve. And we will have pictures up of the animals, probably in late May, maybe early June. And whoever gets their applications in first gets first pick. That's kind of how that works. And then we are hoping, because right now pickup is in Ridgecrest, California, and we are hoping the more applicants we get in from further east, that we will get another pickup location. So putting in your applications, you are not obligated to compete, but please get them in so that we can get you on a list. You can hold your spot on picking out, and also that so you can kind of help us have the ability to present, to open up another location because the more applicants we have, the bigger case we have that we really do need another pickup location further east. Let me see. There will also be prize money for the open show, and with the open show, any burro that's or horse or Mustang rather that is branded can compete. If you have a baby that was conceived in the wild and you adopted the mom and she foaled and you want to show that, that's totally fine. You can just show us that the mom is branded or some kind of proof. You'll have proof if that is the case, or just talk to us. So, but basically it's any branded BLM Mustang, whether you adopted it 20 years ago or 6 months ago. If you want to compete it in the open, you absolutely can. It's just run like any other show. But there will be some awesome prizes. There will be some prize money, which is fantastic because if any of us are given a chance to win back our travel and competition fees, all for it. Also at the Las Vegas Tip Challenge, the BLM will be present, and they're going to bring a selection of wild horses with them that are able to be adopted there at the competition, as well as we'll hold an auction at the end for any competitors that don't want to take their animals home and would like to sell them at the end of the competition. That option is available, and what's nice about that auction is that the trainers get to keep all of the money. So whatever the animal sells for, the trainer gets to keep it. We don't keep any. Mustang Heritage Foundation doesn't keep any. It all goes to the trainer. So hopefully that can help offset costs, as well as all the prizes and prize money. I'll put a link below what the requirements are from BLM. You need to find out where you live. There are different requirements on what type of pen and shelter that you need for your animal. And I'll put that link below so you can check that out from BLM. But you are adopting this animal, so it's $125 to adopt. No, you do not get part of the incentive. So the new incentive that was just posted, we get $500 in like 60 days and then another 500 when you get title. Doing the tip challenge does not give you that ability to participate in that incentive. So a little bit more about the show. Anybody who's competing in the tip challenge, when you make it to the competition, you get $200 from the host, which would be us, right away, and that should help with offset some of your expenses. And then your stall is paid for, so your horse or your burro that you're bringing, your stall will be paid for the weekend, starting Thursday all the way through Sunday. We will give you a bag of shavings, and then if you we will also be providing every, I think, third stall will be a tack stalls, and you'll get assigned a tack stall. However, for the open show, if you're competing in the open show and not in the tip challenge, you will have to pay for your own stall, and you will have to pay for your own shavings, and just like a regular show. It's just basically a regular horse show. The advantage of doing the tip challenge and the open show is your stall's already paid for your tip horse, so that would save that expense. So here I'm going to show you some things that might be at the show. This is just a simple opening a gate and closing a gate. You might see that in a trail class. This is one way you can do that. You could even send your horse and do that, or you just be simple like this. This is a pole and side passing over the pole. And tell you about this horse. He's a 2-year-old. He is a tip horse. He will be competing in a tip competition in another month. And this is kind of where he's at. And I mean, you could ask, the judge can ask you to side pass the whole length of the thing. They could do half of it, only one direction. I mean, all kinds of stuff. This is a chute to walk through. They may have you walk through it like this and back up, or just go to it and back up to it, which would be even more difficult. So you should have a pretty good handle on your tip horse, where you can direct their rear end, you can direct their front end. They have a nice back on them. They're soft in the halter. The judge is going to look for all of that stuff. He kind of went a little fast here and stepped out. Lose points for that. So it's just something he's got to work on. And here, if you have an obstacle that they want you to go through, you can lead them through like that. You're on one side and you lead the horse through. You can send them through if you have a horse that's really nice and quiet in sending. You could try that. You should be able to, usually this is in every tip show, you should be able to brush your horse. And like ground tying like this is going to give you a lot more points than holding the lead rope, but you need to know your horse. If you haven't, worked on it at home, definitely don't try and do it the first time at the show. So here, like he's standing pretty nice and ground tied there, and that would be really good high point value. And then here, your horse can either we could trot him in hand. We can. He's totally not trotting.
I've been working on this.
There we go. Now we're trotting. So that first thing, they would lose a lot of points because you're asking him to trot and he didn't go forward. So you'd lose a lot of points. And they could ask you to trot like a figure 8. They could ask you to trot a serpentine. That was a nice backup. You will have to be able to pick up your horse's feet. There's same thing, ground tying, you're going to get a lot more points than if you're holding the lead rope. They need to stand still. They'll lose a lot of points if they're not standing still. And I mean, this can totally easily be done and taught. So even like a little adjustment like that, if it's a really tough competition, you might lose some points, but he's standing pretty quiet. And you may be asked to drag something, and it would just be a matter of picking it up and dragging while you're leading.
your animal, and as simple as this, I mean, we just found some random thing to drag. And so you get him used to dragging stuff like that. And so he's walking calmly. Um, how you lead your horse is up to you. Citro likes to lead him like this.
Hope you get your application in soon so that you can save your spot on picking your animal out. And thank you so much for watching.